Hi again, everyone. Welcome back to our series on firepower appliances. In this video, we're going to focus on appliance resiliency, the whole box going down that either runs an ASA application or FTD application. And this is our same design where we have our ASAs in failover and complementing that with FTD application running NGIPS. So here, what we're going to do is look at our ASA unit that's active. And while we have all our connections running through it, we are going to simulate a software crash on that active unit and let the standby detect that and become active and enable that path on the right. So if we take a look at our ASAs, we see that failover is running in active standby and all the interfaces are properly monitored. So ASA is doing fine. And looking at all of our connectivity here, we have UDP packets received on host A that you see here and also received on host C in this case. So that connectivity is in place, and we have also our SSH connections there. Just to check on those, we can change into our context 1 and show that we have the two connections, the TCP and UDP. And we can also change into context 2 and see two connections up and running there as well. So at this point, we're going to simulate the crash. So at this point, we're going to simulate our crash on active unit. And here we can see that in that simulated crash, we lost only one packet there. So we basically transitioned within a second of losing that unit, and former standby became active. We can see that interfaces had failed monitoring on that unit because the unit has failed itself. At this point, we're going to pause the video, wait for the other unit to come back, and sync the configuration before we proceed. If we take a look at our FXOS for ASA1, it does tell me that this unit is not responding at the moment. So HA role was active, and ASA2 had become active, and it is online. All right, then we're back and rebooted ASA unit had actually come back up. So we had just come back up and ASA1 sunk the configuration, and we have again our active standby units in place. So at this point, what we're going to do is change the active state back to ASA1. And now we're going to focus on FTD1 crashing or going down, and in turn taking the active path on the left out and enabling the right path as active, right, as the FTD takes out the ASA active that's there interconnected. So let's take a look at our setup again. We have our primary unit ASA is active. Secondary is standby. And just to take a look at the failover configuration again, because in this case we're going to be rebooting the FTD unit, which may not necessarily bring down the interfaces on ASA. We have our poll time for unit set, and I'm going to add an additional failover poll time for the interfaces themselves. which will bring the hold time from about 15 seconds to 5, tightening our transition for loss of interfaces between two ASAs that are going to be monitored through the FTD we're going through. So with that added, our connections are still in place here. What we're going to do this time is use our FTD chassis manager, FTD1, and we're simply going to power cycle the whole security engine here. So here we're going to monitor when the transition occurs and when we lose connectivity itself. And here we can see that we had about 3 to 4 seconds transition there between the primary path all going to secondary active. So this concludes our video on resiliency of losing appliances in this case, either 4100 running ASA on top here that we showed, and also losing the FTD standalone IPS through which ASAs are connected. Hope this was useful, and thank you for watching.